Let me ask you something. How many times have you stayed silent, thinking it would keep the peace or make others realize their mistakes? How often has that silence been mistaken for weakness, indifference, or even consent? Here's the cold, hard truth. Some people don't deserve your silence. In fact, they thrive on it. They rely on it to escape accountability, twist narratives, and maintain control. You see, silence can be powerful, but only when it's intentional, when it's used as a shield to protect your peace. It works wonders, but when silence becomes your default response, especially with manipulative people, it stops working for you and starts working against you. Think about this. Every time you choose silence over speaking your truth, you're giving them the space to rewrite the story in their favor. You're handing over the reins to someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. The longer you stay quiet, the more you diminish your own voice and power. Here's the harsh reality. They don't deserve your silence. They deserve your truth, not out of anger or vengeance, but out of respect for yourself and what you stand for. The truth is a weapon, not of destruction, but of liberation. When you speak your truth, you're not just confronting them, you're freeing yourself from the weight of unspoken words and unresolved emotions. Let me ask you, do you think they would remain as comfortable if you exposed their lies instead of ignoring them? Or if you addressed their manipulations instead of pretending not to notice? The uncomfortable truth is that silence enables their behavior, but speaking your truth disrupts it. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people believe that silence sends a stronger message. They think it's a way to show strength, maturity, or superiority. But here's what they miss. Silence is often misunderstood by the wrong person. Your silence says, "I don't care," or worse, "You've won." Dark. Psychology thrives in these moments. Manipulators love to fill the gaps your silence leaves behind. They'll twist your quietness into guilt, doubt, or even make it seem like their actions were justified. The question is, are you okay with letting them control the narrative? Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't about arguing or creating chaos. It's about clarity. It's about replacing silence with intentional communication that sets boundaries, holds people accountable, and protects your peace. The truth is not about being harsh. It's about being honest, firm, and unapologetically yourself. So let me ask you again, are you using silence to protect your peace, or are you letting it rob you of your power? There's a massive difference between choosing silence and being silenced. In this discussion, we're going to dive deep into why your silence might be doing more harm than good, and how embracing your truth can completely shift the power dynamics in any relationship. This isn't about manipulation or games. It's about stepping into your power, commanding respect, and making your presence unmissable, whether you're there or not. But before we get started, don't skip any part of this discussion. Each second is packed with insights that can transform the way you approach your relationships and how you handle people who don't deserve your silence. Here's an affirmation for you. I reclaim my power by speaking my truth. Type it in the comments if you're ready to stop letting silence control your life and start using your voice to create real change. Let's get started. 1. Silence gives them the power to twist the truth. Picture this. You're faced with a situation where someone has wronged you, an act that cuts deep into your sense of self. You think that staying silent will protect you, that it will preserve your peace. But what really happens when you stay quiet? They take the opportunity to rewrite the story. They spin their version of events, painting you as the one at fault, casting doubt on your actions, and leaving you to shoulder the burden of their manipulation. Here's the brutal truth. Silence doesn't always give you strength. It gives them control. Manipulative people thrive when you say nothing, because silence leaves room for their narratives to flourish unchecked. They create a version of events where they are the victim and you become the villain, all while you sit silently watching helplessly as they reshape reality. Think back to a time when you kept quiet, believing that your silence would prevent conflict or let things blow over. Did things get resolved, or did they escalate? Often, silence creates space for misunderstandings to fester, resentment to build, and emotional wounds to deepen. It's not empowering, it's disempowering. When you choose silence over truth, you give them the power to define your worth. Once they've controlled the narrative, they've stripped you of your agency, your voice, and your ability to stand in your own truth. Here's where dark psychology kicks in. Manipulators use silence to manipulate and control. They rely on your discomfort and fear of confrontation to maintain their grip. They don't just want to win the argument, they want to dismantle your confidence and distort reality in their favor, and silence is the perfect tool for them to do that. So how do you break free from this cycle? By speaking your truth, not from a place of anger or revenge, but from a place of empowerment and clarity. When you stand in your truth, you create a clear boundary, demand respect, and force them to confront their actions head-on. The truth might be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It's the only way to reclaim your power and dismantle the illusion they've built. You deserve to be heard, to be understood, and to be treated with respect, no matter how difficult the conversation might be. Let me ask you, are you ready to stop letting silence control your story? Because when you speak your truth, you take back the narrative and no one can manipulate you into thinking otherwise. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to take back control. My truth is my strength, and no one can distort it. 2. Silence allows them to escape accountability. Imagine a situation where someone repeatedly crosses boundaries, disrespecting your feelings, ignoring your needs, or invalidating your worth. Each time you choose silence, thinking that by not responding they'll eventually realize their mistakes. But what happens? They continue their behavior unhindered, believing they can get away with it because you've remained silent. They escape accountability, moving forward as if nothing ever happened, leaving you with unspoken frustrations and unaddressed pain. Here's the harsh truth. Silence empowers them to avoid responsibility. When you stay quiet, you give them the space to sidestep accountability, avoid confronting their actions, and continue treating you with disregard. They get comfortable in their pattern, assuming there are no real consequences for their behavior, draining your sense of self-worth and undermining your ability to set healthy boundaries. Think about how many times you've been in situations where you felt overlooked, dismissed, or even manipulated. You might have remained silent, thinking that by keeping the peace, things would get better. But the opposite often happens. Silence communicates a lack of consequence, giving them permission to repeat the same behavior, knowing you won't challenge it. Accountability is crucial for growth, both personal and relational. Without it, people remain stuck in toxic cycles, believing they can act without repercussions. Silence in this context becomes an enabler, a way for them to dodge the discomfort of facing their flaws and responsibilities. As you silently endure, your self-worth diminishes. Dark psychology preys on this dynamic. Manipulative individuals intentionally push boundaries to see how far they can go. They know that if you don't speak up, they'll keep pushing. Silence feeds their sense of power because it removes any challenge to their actions. They thrive on your unspoken pain, assuming that you'll eventually accept things as they are because you've said nothing. But what if you refuse to let them escape accountability? What if you stood firm, speaking your truth and holding them responsible for their behavior? That's where your strength lies. When you speak your truth, you create a foundation where boundaries are respected, where actions have consequences, and where your self-worth is non-negotiable. It's not about punishing them, it's about protecting yourself. Accountability isn't just a concept, it's a necessity for healthy, balanced relationships. When you use your voice to demand it, you reinforce your sense of empowerment and reclaim your dignity. Consider this: the longer you stay silent, the deeper the wounds grow. They begin to define your worth, not by who you truly are, but by how much you endure. It's not your job to be a martyr for their emotional comfort. You deserve respect, understanding, and consideration, and silence won't get you there. The key is to speak your truth, to express how their actions impact you, not out of anger, but from a place of clarity and self-respect. This is how you dismantle the illusion of control and take back the narrative. Let me ask you again, how long are you willing to let silence shield their irresponsibility? Because when you embrace your truth, you're not just setting boundaries, you're empowering yourself to take control of your worth and demand the respect you deserve. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to reclaim your voice. I hold them accountable, and my self-worth is untouchable. 3. Silence allows manipulation to take root. Imagine walking into a room where you know someone is twisting the truth, playing games and manipulating situations to suit their agenda. You stand there silent, trying to understand how to respond. The more you remain silent, the deeper their manipulation takes hold. They weave a web of doubt, confusion, and guilt, shaping the narrative so that you begin to question your own reality. This is what happens when you stay silent in the face of manipulation. Silence gives them the power to manipulate your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. They feed off your quietness, using it to insert doubt and control, making you second-guess your own perceptions and instincts. Over time, this erodes your sense of self-worth and autonomy. Manipulative people are skilled at exploiting silence. They don't need to engage openly. They thrive in the gaps where words are left unspoken and questions go unanswered. With every moment of silence, they inch closer to controlling your perspective, leaving you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and confusion. Think of a time when someone subtly shifted the narrative using half-truths or passive-aggressive comments while you sat quietly, unsure of how to respond. By staying silent, you allowed them to guide the conversation, pulling you into a space where your thoughts and emotions were easily twisted to serve their agenda. Dark psychology preys on these moments. Manipulators use your silence as a tool to distort reality. They know that when you don't speak up, your power diminishes. Silence creates fertile ground for their manipulation, giving them the space to redefine who you are in ways that strip you of clarity and confidence. This isn't a game you should be playing. The longer you remain silent, the more you allow them to rewrite your narrative. You deserve better than to be manipulated into self-doubt. Your worth is not something they can redefine. It's inherent, unshakable, and undeniable. Empowerment comes from recognizing when manipulation is taking hold and refusing to let it flourish. Speaking your truth isn't just about expressing your perspective, it's about protecting your sense of self. When you speak up, you reclaim control over your reality, set boundaries, demand respect, and ensure that your voice is heard. Silence feeds manipulation. It gives them the ammunition they need to break down your confidence, making you believe you're incapable of standing up for yourself. But the truth is, you are capable, you are strong, and you are worthy of being understood. Silence will never protect you from those who seek to distort your reality. So ask yourself, how much longer will you allow manipulation to take root? How much longer will you let silence erode your self-worth? It's time to take back your power, speak your truth, demand clarity, stand tall in your sense of self, and let them know that your silence won't be their weapon. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to take control of your narrative. I speak my truth, and my self-worth remains unshaken. 4. Silence breeds dependence on their approval. Imagine walking a tightrope, constantly seeking someone else's validation to feel secure. With every step, you remain silent, hoping they'll approve, hoping their acknowledgement will affirm your worth. But what happens when their approval becomes the cornerstone of your identity? You lose sight of who you are, relying on them to define your value, your success, and your self-worth. This is the trap of silence when it's used as a tool for seeking external validation. By keeping quiet, you allow them to control the narrative, making their opinion more important than your own. Silence becomes a mechanism to gain acceptance rather than an act of empowerment, and in this dynamic, your self-worth is left in their hands. When you stay silent, you invite dependence on their approval, creating an unhealthy cycle where their validation dictates your emotional state. Every smile, every nod becomes a small victory, reinforcing your need for their approval. The more you rely on them, the more you risk losing your sense of self entirely. Dark psychology thrives on this dynamic. Manipulators use silence to create dependency, knowing that if you seek their validation, they hold the power to shape your emotions and decisions. They play the role of the gatekeeper, dispensing approval in controlled doses, ensuring that your worth remains tethered to their acceptance. The harsh truth is that when you allow silence to dictate your self-worth, you give them the control they crave. They become the judge of your value, the decider of your successes, and the authority over your emotions. Once they've taken hold of that power, breaking free becomes a struggle. Empowerment begins when you take back control. You don't need anyone else's validation to know your worth. Silence isn't about seeking approval. It's about asserting your truth, embracing your identity, and standing confidently in your power. Think about moments when you've stayed quiet, suppressing your thoughts and emotions because you feared rejection or criticism. How often did that silence lead to deeper insecurity? How many times did you question your own instincts because their silence left you in doubt? It's time to stop letting them define you. Your self-worth is not a commodity to be negotiated or judged by someone else. It's a foundation you build within yourself, a strong, unwavering sense of value that doesn't crumble when their approval is absent. When you speak your truth, you reclaim that power. You stand tall, knowing that your worth isn't dependent on their validation, but on your authenticity and resilience. When you fully embrace that truth, you'll no longer fear their silence. It will lose its grip on your confidence. So ask yourself, how much longer will you seek their approval before recognizing your own value? The power is yours. Speak your truth, take back control, and stop seeking validation that belongs to you alone. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to own your self-worth. My value is inherent, and no one can diminish it. 5. Silence diminishes your power to influence. Imagine standing in a room where you have the opportunity to speak, to share your thoughts, and to express your ideas. But you stay silent. With every word you withhold, every thought you keep to yourself, you lose a piece of your influence. Silence becomes a barrier between you and your ability to impact situations, relationships, and even your own life. When you remain silent, you concede power to others. They take control, shaping the narrative, making decisions, and influencing outcomes, all while you watch from the sidelines. Silence strips away your ability to influence, reducing you to a passive participant in your own life. Dark psychology exploits this dynamic. Manipulative individuals know that silence is a tool to strip away your authority. They manipulate your reluctance to speak up, turning it into a weakness they can exploit. By keeping you silent, they ensure you're unable to challenge, lead, or assert yourself effectively. Every moment you stay silent allows them to fill that void with their own version of truth. They control the dialogue, weaving their version of events, their desires and their goals into your reality, leaving you powerless to challenge or redirect the course. Think of the times you've chosen silence out of fear, insecurity, or a desire to avoid conflict. In those moments, you gave up your power, handing over the reins, assuming that staying silent would preserve peace or avoid confrontation. But the truth is, silence rarely brings peace. It fosters misunderstanding and manipulation. Your words hold weight. They are the tools with which you shape your world. When you speak your truth, you assert your presence, guiding conversations, decisions, and relationships in a way that reflects your values and needs. Silence takes that power away, making it easier for others to dominate the narrative. Empowerment begins when you recognize the power of your voice. You have the ability to influence, guide, and lead, but only if you're willing to step into your truth. Your silence in moments when your voice is needed can leave you feeling isolated, disconnected, and overlooked. Take control. Use your words to challenge false narratives, express your needs, and redefine your role in relationships and situations. Silence may seem safe in the short term, but it's a false comfort, a temporary solution that erodes your strength over time. Let your voice be the beacon that sets boundaries, creates understanding, and inspires change. Your truth is your power, and no one can diminish its impact when you stand confidently behind it. So ask yourself, how much longer will you let silence strip you of influence? Embrace your voice, speak your truth, and reclaim the power to shape your life and relationships on your terms. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to reclaim your power. My voice is my strength, and I use it to create positive change. 6. Silence shields manipulation, but your truth breaks free. Imagine walking through a maze where every twist and turn is filled with subtle manipulation, half-truths, silent judgments, and hidden agendas designed to confuse and control you. The deeper you go into this maze of silence, the more tangled you become, unsure of what is real and what is false. You become a prisoner of their narrative, where your truth is distorted and hidden beneath layers of manipulation. This is the power of silence when used as a weapon in dark psychology. Manipulators thrive in the void created by your silence. They fill that space with their own version of events, dictating how you see yourself and how you perceive reality. With every passing moment of silence, you give them the upper hand. But silence is not your ally in this battle. It may seem like a way to protect yourself, to avoid conflict or uncomfortable truths. However, silence only shields manipulation. It doesn't dismantle it. The longer you stay silent, the more they manipulate your emotions, beliefs, and decisions. Your truth, on the other hand, is your ultimate weapon. Speaking your truth is the key to breaking free from the maze of manipulation. It shatters the illusions created by silence, offering clarity, power, and the strength to reclaim your sense of self-worth. Dark psychology exploits your reluctance to speak up, using silence as a tool to anchor their influence. They understand that silence can mask confusion, doubt, and control. But when you stop allowing them to dictate your reality, when you assert your truth, their power begins to erode. Think about the moments when you've stayed silent in the face of manipulation. How often did you leave a conversation questioning your own thoughts? How often did their silence drown out your own voice, making you feel unseen and unheard? Silence may seem like an easy escape, but it's a temporary illusion of safety. Eventually, it turns into a cage, a barrier to your personal growth, freedom, and authenticity. The longer you stay silent, the more distant you become from your true self, and the more control they gain over your narrative. Speaking your truth, however, is liberating. It's not just about defending yourself, it's about reclaiming the power to define your own reality. Your words carry weight that can dismantle the web of manipulation and restore clarity to your life. Empowerment lies in your ability to confront the manipulative forces that seek to distort your truth. You deserve to be heard, to be understood, and to stand in your authenticity without fear of judgment or control. So ask yourself, how much longer will you let silence shield manipulation? Break free from the maze, speak your truth, and take back the power to shape your life with clarity and confidence. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to embrace your truth. I speak my truth, and in doing so, I reclaim my power. 7. Silence fuels their control. Truth restores your freedom. Imagine being trapped in a prison of silence, where every unspoken word adds another lock to the door. You sit quietly, watching as they manipulate, dominate, and control every aspect of your reality. With each passing moment, your power erodes and your sense of self becomes a distant memory. Silence becomes your captor, a subtle but suffocating force that robs you of freedom. In dark psychology, silence is a potent weapon. Manipulators use it to strip away your autonomy, controlling your thoughts, actions, and emotions without you even realizing it. By staying silent, you allow them to dictate the narrative, shaping your reality to suit their desires while erasing your influence. The harsh truth is that silence doesn't protect you, it empowers them. Every moment you choose not to speak is another step toward losing your voice, your authority, and your self-worth. They thrive on your silence because it feeds their control. Without your truth, they are free to distort, deceive, and dominate. But here's where the power shift occurs. Your truth is your weapon. When you reclaim your voice, you take back control. Your words carry the weight of your experiences, your values, and your strength, none of which can be manipulated once you speak them. Think of the times you've remained silent in the face of injustice, fear, or manipulation. How often did that silence leave you feeling trapped, helpless, or powerless? How many decisions did you avoid because you didn't want to face the consequences of speaking your truth? Every silent moment contributes to their dominance. They create spaces where your voice is not heard, and in that void, they build a narrative that benefits them alone. But when you choose to speak your truth, you disrupt that control. Your words become a force against manipulation, a tool of empowerment and liberation. Empowerment starts with the courage to confront the silence. Silence is not your ally. It is a weapon wielded by those who seek to control you. By embracing your truth, you shatter the illusion of helplessness. You reclaim the freedom to define your reality and reject their power over you. Your truth sets you free. It reminds you that your voice matters, and in a world where silence is often a tool of oppression, speaking up is the first step toward liberation. So ask yourself, how much longer will you let silence bind you to manipulation? Embrace your truth and take back the reins of your life. Speak with confidence and let your voice be the foundation of your power. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to break free. I speak my truth, and in doing so, I reclaim my freedom. 8. Your silence is their weapon. Your truth is your power. Throughout this journey, we've explored the darker aspects of silence, how it can be weaponized against you, stripping away your autonomy and self-worth. Silence creates a void that manipulators thrive on, a space where they can dictate your reality, control your thoughts, and diminish your influence. But here's the crucial truth. You are not powerless. You have the power to shift the dynamic. Your truth is your most potent weapon. It cuts through the fog of manipulation and reclaims what is rightfully yours: your voice, your power, and your self-worth. They don't deserve your silence, because silence serves their control. They deserve your truth, because only through your truth can you stand firmly in your authenticity and reclaim your place in your own life. Imagine stepping out of the shadows where silence has kept you captive and into the light where your words empower you. With every truth you speak, you build a foundation of strength that no one can undermine. Your truth is a declaration of who you are, free from the distortions and manipulations designed to keep you small. Silence may seem like an easy escape, an attempt to avoid conflict or the pain of confrontation, but in reality, it's a false refuge that leaves you vulnerable and disconnected from your sense of self. Manipulators thrive on your silence because it allows them to shape your reality without challenge. They use it to their advantage, pulling strings behind the scenes while you remain passive, unaware, or too afraid to speak. Your truth, however, is liberating. It transforms you from a reactive bystander into an active participant in your own destiny. Speaking your truth restores the balance of power, empowering you to set boundaries, express your needs, and navigate relationships with confidence. Every moment you choose to stay silent is another opportunity lost, a chance to assert your worth and remind yourself that you deserve to be heard. Your words carry weight, and when you own them, they become a source of strength, clarity, and empowerment. Dark psychology will continue to attempt to silence you. They will use guilt, fear, and manipulation to keep you small. But your truth is the ultimate resistance, a force they cannot control, a voice they cannot silence. So stop giving them the power. Stop letting silence be your response to manipulation and oppression. Embrace your truth and watch how it transforms not just your external circumstances, but your internal sense of self-worth and empowerment. You are unstoppable when you speak your truth. Your voice is a catalyst for change within you and those around you. They don't deserve your silence. They deserve your truth, and it's time to give it to them. Drop this final affirmation in the comments if you're ready to reclaim your power. I choose truth over silence, and in doing so, I take back my life.